All right, hey Carla. All right, so we're gonna wait just a few minutes here. This is take two of our teacher chat. My lighting is still very poor, but I'm gonna be sharing my screen here in a few seconds. And let's see. All right, I can pop that chat out. Okay. All right, I think I'm getting the hang of this now. All right, I'm going to close this. Okay, all right. So as you guys are joining, go ahead and add in a little comment on the discussion on the side. Hi, Nias. All right, I'm glad you joined us too. Hopefully Sean's going to make his way in too. And okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we'll finally get this thing started. Nope, wrong one there. Okay, all right. So you guys should be able to see my screen now. All right, so the way I want to kind of run this, I've got a couple of cool features that I'm going to show off tonight for everybody. And we'll kind of take it from there. But I always like to kind of do these webinars with kind of like a class thing. So I'm just going to create a class. We're going to call this so I'm going to create a new class. It's a nice demo thing too. As a teacher, you can do the same thing. This is going to allow you then to kind of like join any of the lessons as we're going along. Create a new class, teacher chats. Let's see, spring 2019. All right, let's create that. And there we go. All right. So then here is our code. I'm going to go and paste that into our chat. Hey, Sean. All right. All right. So what I want you guys to do is head over to your Insert Learning dashboard and enter in or join their class. Click on classes. So you go to classes, click on the plus, and then enroll, and then enter in the code of U9SMYM. And we're going to go from there. So I've got a bunch of different things in here that I've been experimenting around with for creating lessons. One of the ones that's kind of cool that I'm excited about is there's a little bit of work that we did with ReadWorks. And we're going to use ReadWorks for this one. So ReadWorks, it's a free online resource. They've got printable ones, but they've got a whole variety of free content that's out there. And it's mostly nonfiction. They do have some fiction that's in there. But let's just go ahead and pick one right now. So I'm going to pick this one. And so with Insert Learning, we've heard a lot of teachers, even though they have pre-made questions and a lot of things that are in there already, a lot of teachers want to use Insert Learning with it. And in the past, it was a little bit cumbersome because you had to have like the teacher one and the student one. And so what we've done is we've kind of made this a little bit simpler. So now when you load Insert Learning on it, I'm going to go ahead and add in just simply, I always like to give some instructions. So I can give like my instructions up here. Read and annotate. And then down here, I'm going to add in a question. What I would like everybody to do is go ahead and do you know about Rosa Parks? All right, we're going to add that question. And then I'm going to add in a live discussion down here. Find most interesting. And a good opinion one. All right, now I'm going to share it to our class. What did I call this thing again? Teacher chat. Here we go. All right, it's assigned. So you'll now see this in your dashboard. I'm also just going to go ahead and copy that link and paste it right there. Yeah, right. I mean, it's like ReadWorks is amazing, Carla. And it's been interesting too. I've been hearing from a lot of people that it's really big in the South, and it's kind of getting more traction in the North where we are in Minnesota. It's interesting though about how there's like very different tools and sites are very kind of regional in the United States. I found this kind of interesting. So once you get that, head over to that link, head over to our lesson. And what's neat is that now you won't have to sign in to ReadWorks. And so teachers and students will be going to the same URL, and then you can see that stuff there. And when you guys get there, go ahead and just simply answer that first question right here, because I'm going to show you something that's pretty awesome now. Oh, Carla's already started typing in there. So now what we've added in, we added this a couple weeks ago, and it's very quietly, and so we're looking for a lot of feedback on this, is this ability to give feedback. So as a teacher now, you can give feedback directly on there. So I'm going to write, great start, Carla. And you tell me a little more about this. All right. And then what's going to do is this will automatically then send Carla or your student an email that they've now received some feedback. And so you can do that right there within here. Same thing of like our discussions will show up. Now, because I just made this lesson, I think I need to reload my lesson at least once. And then I'm going to load insert learning again on here. Some of the live syncing stuff doesn't always automatically populate if you haven't loaded it at all. Yeah, Newsela is another huge one, Carla. Yeah. I was just talking with somebody of like, and also I think Newsela, and also if it's News ELA is like another big dividing thing. I have heard so much on both sides of it. So another place that you can do the feedback is also in your teacher dashboard. So I'm going to just open up another tab, head over to our dashboard. And then when I go to my classes, it's going to be very much the same thing there. No, I want to go to grading. Sorry. It's going to be very much the same thing here. So I'm going to go to Rosa Parks. There we go. And then I see Carla's. Right. And so then I can see that then here. And then it's going to be the same thing. Now it's going to send out the students. And so you guys should actually then receive an email that's going to show you the feedback. You end up getting a box that looks almost exactly like this with your feedback, and then a link so then students can go and they can look at their responses. And if you're on the lesson itself still, you can actually then see your responses there. So if I switch over to a student mode, so I'm clicking more options and then view as a student, I can now type in my answers. I'm just going to type something there. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to go back to my teacher view. And when I click on all my responses, oh, it didn't show my student one. That's right, because I'm the teacher for the class. Right. So we got that. So students be able to see that. So the student feedback thing is a really big new one. The other thing that I want to always keep promoting is the public library. And this is something that has really gone wild this school year. We have got hundreds of lessons now that teachers have shared. And you can sort them by subject area. So if you're a tech coach, there's a lot of amazing professional development articles that are out there. Right. So somebody shared one then. So Alejandra shared one, the growth mindset. And so there's a lot of really neat things you can go through. I've created a lot of different ones for the teachers at my school that then we've gone through. This is a really neat way to be able to introduce insert learning to your school. What's neat is that you can go through and then kind of view how are other people using insert learning. Now, what we do have coming up this year, or we're going to be starting this tomorrow when I send out a big email, but we are doing a Black History Month lesson challenge where you create a lesson related to Black History Month, publish it to the public library, and then you just automatically in there, you add in a little tag of Black History Month 2019, and then you're automatically added into the challenge. And we're going to have some really great prizes. This month is going to be some individual teacher subscriptions and then some team subscriptions where you get like 5 teacher subscriptions with it. And then a top prize of a school-wide subscription. And then next month is going to be one for Women's History Month. And then that one's also being sponsored by Adafruit, and they're going to be giving out an electronics kit. We'll talk about that a little bit more later on as we go along. So these are two of the really big things of the ability to give students feedback directly on the lesson itself, as well as being able to use it with ReadWorks a lot more easily. So this is kind of the part where here I want to kind of just open this up and what kind of questions do people have? Or does anybody have anything that they want to share? Carla, I know you are very busy. You're on Twitter a lot. I feel like I see you on there a lot. And also messages from teachers. What are people sharing in their classrooms? All right. Well, I'm going to be looking at the comments feed here while we're doing this. In my classes, I'm doing a lot with computer literacy. So I've been kind of looking at. I'll pull up some of my lessons while I'm just talking here. I've been trying to do a lot with because I've got 6th grade and 9th graders that I'm doing computer literacy with, and we're doing a lot of the technologies like just computer skills like typing and using a trackpad and key commands and stuff. But we're also bringing a lot of just the digital literacy of finding good sources, or evaluating sources, and then also just like what does privacy mean in the in the digital age, and those kinds of things. And so let's see. This is one that was kind of a neat one that I did with my students, and this one was designed for I'm going to share my screen here. And Carla, I see your response on there. Yeah, let's definitely talk about biology here. Oh, there we go. All right, so this article was designed for educators. But I thought it'd be great for my students. And so we actually did like a whole like 2-week project just simply talking about phones, and students did a variety of different things and some research and writing up their own opinion paper and making a poster related to it. And so I gave my instructions. So this is on Medium. And then I've got a variety of questions in here. I wanted to really scaffold this a lot for my students. Now, I also ended up using the extension Loom as I was going through and reading each paragraph or each section, because one of my 6th graders really struggles with reading. Well, one, this is a pretty high level reading. So my 6th graders kind of struggled anyways, but one of my students had a lot of trouble. And she really just needed me to sit there and read the whole thing to her. Even though it has like an audio recording up here, she just needed more support than what was actually in there, because she also needed me to explain the questions. And so I was like, all right, I can't do that right now in class. So I told him, like, hey, let's just do this tomorrow. You can do the reading tomorrow. I'm going to go home and do this reading. And so I went home and I spent maybe about 15 minutes reading through this, kind of explaining all the questions and then betting them in there. And so after each question, then I've got a new reading, and then she can just click on that and then actually then just listen to me reading through it, and then I explain the questions a little bit more. And it was fantastic. She just sat there with her headphones and got through the whole thing. And at the end, I was like, hey, like, how did it go? She's like, it was great. And she had some of the best answers of everybody because she spent some more time on it. All right. So, Carla, I'm going to head over to yours. So, doing biology, environmental issues, current issues related to topics at hand. That's really big. I bet right now there are a number of people kind of talking about like climate change, and is this climate or is this weather? So, Carla, I got a question for you of, are you, what are your like text sources that you're using, or like how are you kind of approaching environmental issues in biology? We're waiting for your response. I'm going to pull up of one of the ones I like to use a lot is Science News for Students. Science News for Students.org, I believe. This is a really good one. I've also seen a lot of them of, is it Science Daily? I think it's Science Daily. Has been popping up a lot, being used by teachers in lessons in the public library. All right, so Ben, you just asked a question there of what kind of experience does Insert Learning offer for mobile devices? Right now, None. So we used to have an Android and an iOS app. That was about like a year and a half ago, and we actually dropped those. Um, and the real reason is just majority of our users were using Chrome. They're using Chromebooks. And so we just kind of decided to focus on that because we wanted to roll out some more options like video recording and some other things. And so we're just supporting Chrome at this time. The whole desktop things is definitely a big issue, right? I mean, almost all of my students only have smartphones for their internet device. We're one-to-one Chromebooks at my school. We have Chromebook carts in the rooms, and so the students don't take the Chromebooks home. And so we can't do homework that way, but we do all of our lessons just simply in class. But that whole issue of people using their phones now to for how they're going to be doing their learning is definitely something that we're very aware of, because I mean most homes don't have computers, and definitely as you go to lower income areas, like most of my students are pretty low income. They don't have computers, which makes sense because why would you get a computer anyways? But yeah, so in the future, yes, there will definitely be support for cell phones. No specific timeline, probably not even next school year, but in the future, just because that's definitely a way that it's going to be going. Um, all right, and then all right, so Carla, let's see here. Citizen science projects, yes. The other science teacher I work with, she's been doing a lot. They did a pollinator garden. Um, Science news for students.org, sciencedaily.com, newyorktimes.com, oh, and sciencing.com. I have not heard of sciencing.com. I got to check this out right now. Science. This is a cool looking one. All right, I'm going to check out this one. I'm going to add this to our list. I'm trying to think of. There was a really funny science one, and it wasn't. They had an acronym. What was it now? But it was aimed at adults. It wasn't like WTF science, but it was something like that. And I'm blanking on the name now. But it was fun because it was short articles that were high interest, but it got into the science. And I think Carla, you and I should talk some more. We're at 6:25 right now, or 25 minutes in. Carla, you and I should definitely talk about. We should do like a science one, coming up sometime. I don't know, the next couple of weeks, because there's a lot of really neat websites and different approaches out there. Because somebody just introduced me to one that's an online journal of actual research that students do, and so it's a online journal for research that students do. Awesome. That sounds good. Okay. Well, if anybody has any questions at all, hey, Joan. Um, if anybody has any more questions, I'm happy to stick around right now. But you guys can also email me at matt@insertlearning.com. And just simply message me on there. I'm a high school science. I didn't even introduce myself. I'm Matt. I'm a high school science teacher here in Minnesota. I'm actually a STEM coordinator at a K-12 charter school. I am one of the co-founders and the CEO of Insert Learning. Oh, and PDFs. So PDFs, yeah. We've got some things that we're kind of working on for PDFs. We're not going to commit to anything at this time. On one end, PDFs, one of our big hesitations is just one, it's a different kind of interface, and it brings up a couple of other issues. And also another thing of, we want people to utilize websites more than everyone's got right, like we're teachers, so we've got like boxes full of old photocopies of old things that are good, but there's like better stuff that's out there. So we wanted a lot, and what I've seen in a lot of other like ed tech things of like, if you can just reuse an old worksheet, people will reuse old worksheet just because it's easier. And I get that. And I do that too because I'm a teacher. But Whereas like we don't want to do like a worksheet thing. And so by forcing people to do websites, yes, IFL Science. That was it. That was it. Thank you, Lisa. IFL Science. I always tell my students this, I freaking love science. Um, uh, but for the PDFs, there is a lot of like journal articles that are only available as PDFs. They don't have anything that's online. There's a lot of professional development stuff. So there are really just a lot of things that are only available as PDFs, and we're aware of that. And that's really the big driving reasons of why in the future we'll most likely have PDF support. I can't give like a specific thing. We are kind of looking at different options of how we can do that to make it easy on the tech side. Because eventually when mobile comes out, we'll want to have it also work on mobile. So some different things. But yes, we're definitely looking more at PDFs, but nothing, probably not this school year at all. Our big focus is right now for school year is the student feedback. So teachers can easily can give more feedback to students and kind of engage students in that kind of like iterative process of like, they give their answer and get some feedback and kind of keep building. So you can go deeper for the understanding as well as kind of bring in some more of the annotation. And we also want to do some more with analytics. So just like how much are your students actually engaging with the text? So instead of just looking at the grade, what are the students doing as they read? We want to kind of get more into that just to make that reading experience more interactive. And so students can really kind of show what they're learning and what they're getting. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining. We are going to be doing this every week. I will get another light in my living room. And now that Sean has taught me how to set it up again with YouTube Live and some of the changes, things will go pretty smoothly in the beginning. And if there's any requests for future teacher chat topics, let me know. We're going to be doing UDL. Carla and I are going to be doing one on science. Our other teacher co-founder, Karen, is a middle school English teacher. She's going to be joining us for one of them too, to kind of share how she uses insert learning in her classroom. Karen does a lot of amazing stuff in her classroom, so I'm excited to kind of hear what she's doing because I haven't worked with her now for 2 years. And have a great evening, everybody. Hopefully you're not going to get too much snow here in Minnesota. We're getting like 4 inches, so fingers crossed I'm going to be able to get the driveway shoveled out and buses will make it to school before third hour. All right. Good night, everybody.